Week we observed the 35th anniversary of the Clean Water Act, and it was an important observation here on the floor as we dealt with the impact that that new law had, the heightened awareness, and the progress that resulted. Back in 1972, when the law was enacted, 1/3 of our waterways met water quality standards. 2/3 did not. In the course of that 35 years, we've reversed that priority. Now there are only 1/3 that don't meet the goal. But the fact is that there still is 1/3 that are not in compliance with our water quality standards. When we look under the ground, the situation is even worse. There are over 72,000 miles of sewer pipe and water main that are over 80 years old. It's one of the reasons large sinkholes open up and swallowing trucks in American streets. Why the American Society of Civil Engineers has given our water infrastructure a D- grade. All of this is compounded by the stress from global warming, as we see not just the ice caps shrink, but the snowpack being reduced. We watch evaporation being accelerated as a result of the elevated temperatures. And we see that thirsty crops need more water because of the global warming. Agriculture, of course, is 90% of our water commitment. Now, there's going to be more friction, more problems over time. We have some of our programs that have been enacted that are just plain silly. We continue to subsidize the growing of cotton with subsidized water in the desert, something that long since should have been phased out. The New York Times this weekend in their magazine featured the Southwest United States water problems, especially centered on the Colorado River and the demands that are rising there. But this tremendous problem is not limited to the Southwest. We see recently the Georgia delegation in Congress is suggesting that they deal with their severe drought and water supply problems by ignoring the environmental regulations of the Endangered Species Act, upsetting not just environmentalists, but their friends downstream. It is a problem we're familiar with in the Pacific Northwest, where we have a severely water-stressed Klamath River basin, where the federal government in all instances has been part of the problem as we promise more water to more diverse users than nature can deliver. It is time for us to revisit not just the celebration of the 35th anniversary of the Clean Water Act, but revisit our commitment that is embodied in that act and where we're going over the next 35 years. It is important that we deal with very real problems of environmental quality requirements to save fish and wildlife and protect ecosystems and indeed human life. We're watching the problems of diminishing supplies as we mine fossilized water in ancient underground aquifers. And global warming, of course, is going to make all of these problems more complex, more severe, and harder to solve. Every member of Congress needs to do more than just celebrate the 35th anniversary of the Clean Water Act. I would hope that in the months ahead, every one of us does an assessment at home to find out how bad the situation is with our local water supply, stormwater, sewage, and drainage. Are we one of the over 1,000 communities with combined sewer overflow problems? How is it going to be paid for? What's the planning that needs to take place? Every one of us should be insisting that we shift to basin-wide framework for analyzing water problems, not just looking at isolated instances. It's time for us to be serious about a funding solution. In 1978, the federal government provided 78% of the funding for our water quality problems. Today, that's just 3%. It's uncertain and it is inadequate. It's time to establish a water trust fund like the Highway Trust Fund to help be a partner with state and local communities in meeting water quality needs. We need to begin addressing the big question of who's going to get the water and why, beyond just historic accident. I strongly urge my friends in Congress to reflect on the 35th anniversary of the Clean Water Act by getting serious today with our constituents at home about what we're going to do for the next 35 years of clean water.